Welcome to another outrageous episode of the Show. We're two geeks who talk about everything. My name is Aaron, and I'm joined by my cousin and co-host Landon.
Good day and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Yes, we are what? As we're recording this, we're a day away from Christmas. It's already happened.
Yeah,
Um,
day after Christmas.
come and gone. Today, the day that we're recording this, it's Boxing Day. So, look out, Canada. I don't know what Boxing Day is, but if it's something where you like punch each other in a ring, it sounds awesome.
Boxing Day? What does that
Yeah,
even mean?
I don't know. I've never understood. I just know it's always December 26th. I think it has something to do with like returning gifts or something. I don't know, but
Uh, are
it's a
you
lot more
returning the
exciting in my
gift?
mind. Am I? No, no. Um, but it's more exciting in my mind if it's like if it has something to do with like actual boxing. You get in a ring, you put the gloves on, you start punching each other in the face. That's the
Yeah.
airing grievances.
Well, it's possible that it's Boxing Day because, you've been with your relatives for a little longer than you'd like. I mean, the work's been done for the food you've eaten. Now it's the day after, and it's like, I'm just
Where
kidding.
are you people?
Actually, it's quite the opposite for us. Now, today, all of the hustle and bustle is done, and it is a gaming day. Today
Oh,
will be the day of games.
sweet. And y'all didn't invite me, punk.
Well, it's just because you're a bad sport. I'm
I
just
am.
kidding.
I mean, you get me around the board on Monopoly like three times, and I'm done. I'm ready to throw it over.
You're like, shut up, stupid.
All
So
right. Oh,
today,
what's yeah? What today? Today for this today's episode, we're talking about movies. Like that's a big change. But it's the end of the year. We thought we'd look back at 2023 and see what movies we got to see and what movies we thought were, what ranks in the top 10. Now, I'll be honest with you, Landon, and we talked about this a little before we started recording. I didn't see as many movies this year as I have in the past. I looked on my flick chart and there's only 20 there, and a few of those are documentaries that hit streaming services.
yeah, I didn't. There were not a lot of movies that I saw this year. I rewatched a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of shows, new shows. I went through the Apple, shows in Apple that I wanted to watch that I haven't watched yet. So it's like I caught up on a lot of stuff, but that was of course because of being in the absence of movies, and more things to see. So yeah, I don't know. 2023 was a little rough when it came to movies. What do you think? Why do you think that was? It couldn't have been because of the strike, because that other things in the strike is going to happen later, because of
Yeah.
things delayed. But all
I
that
don't know.
stuff would have been done.
Well, part of it for me was the strike. I felt weird about going to see movies and supporting
Right.
studios.
Right.
While you had writers and actors that were out there fighting for a fair wage. Um, so part of it for me was that, but I didn't feel guilty for going to see something during the strike either. I mean, they weren't calling for fans or regular people to boycott the movies.
Right.
Um, because there's so much more that goes into it than just the studios. You've got a lot of people out there who are getting paid to uh, you know, man the dolly on the set and things like that. There's
Yeah.
jobs all over. And you've got movie theaters to think about, the people that are employed at your local Regal or your
Yeah.
AMC or whatever. And so like I said, I didn't feel guilty for going to see a movie during the strike, but at the same time, it still felt a little off. But there's a lot to be said about blockbuster fatigue, I guess. And it feels
Mm,
like so many movies that come out, they're aiming for that $1 billion mark at this point. And so everything, it feels like everything comes out every weekend. There's something new that's supposed to be the biggest thing that hit cinemas. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm tired of this. I want I
right.
want a smaller, maybe an independent movie that focuses on some character development. I want to see a good story. And I'm not as impressed with the flashy special effects, especially when they're not as good as they should be. Like this is
Yeah.
another thing we're looking at with movies these days is that, you know, they're more the studios are more interested in quantity over quality.
Right.
And so they're especially when you know, and not to knock on Marvel all that much, but you think about their when they started out, you might be getting one or two movies a year from Marvel, and they were slowly building up to what the Marvel Cinematic Universe became with, you know, by the time it got to Endgame. Now they're so Disney is so active and wanting to get like, oh, we need to get three movies and four TV shows out every year. It's
Which
too
I think that they are taking a pause on that. I think that there's been enough delays. I mean, next year Marvel's only going to have Deadpool 3 out.
right.
Star Wars has been delayed, although there were plans to try to do stuff sooner. And I think that there's kind of this recognition. Let's pause, and then this is amidst having the repercussions of the strikes. So now there were plenty of movies that I said I'm going to see that, but I just didn't see it because I'm waiting for it to come out. And it didn't start off necessarily the best because for me, I watched, I think, as you know, I talked earlier the year about Shazam sequel, you know, as being like the worst movie. But, you know, so I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'm out, you know, or like Blue Beetle, you know, those were movies that I saw where I was like, ugh. And I was so looking forward to seeing Blue Beetle because of the kid that's from Cobra Kai. But
Yeah.
even then, there was just a few of these along the way throughout the year that just kind of was like, yeah, this year.
Well,
Now,
I think
I'm,
some of it with the DC movies too, you've got that thought. Well, at least I have that thought in the back of my head that like, well, James Gunn is coming along and rebooting everything. Like
yeah,
you've got a new Superman movie that's coming out like in a year and a half, and it's like, well, what's the point? Why do I want to go spend money on Aquaman 2
right.
if it doesn't matter for anything in the future of the DC movies?
And when
So
everybody's
I
talking
wait
about
until
it,
that
Jason
comes out on
Momoa,
Max.
yeah, and when Jason Momoa is going to not have a filter and say, yeah, it's not a good movie. You know what I mean? It's like, yep, well, that does it. You know, not
So
that he's like
I
movie
have no
critic, but
desire to see that.
oh,
I didn't see Blue Beetle. It's just like what's the point?
what's the
And
point?
now I will say James Gunn has said that he was impressed by I'm gonna butcher the kid's name. Sholo Madureira, who played Jaime, and he's
Yeah,
the kid from Cobra Kai, said he was
he's a good
impressed with
actor.
him. The
Yeah, he's a
movie
good actor.
itself, that's not necessarily that story that's gonna carry over into the new DCU, but
But maybe
the
the
kid
well,
playing Jaime, he is going to be Blue Beetle moving forward.
oh, that's good. That's good. And he should be. It's not his fault. There's bad writing and bad plot, you know. So, well, let's get into some of this because as we've been talking, and I've been kind of looking at some of these because I originally when we were going to do this and talk through our top 10, I was like, I don't know that I have it, and I was looking through, but then some have come to mind while I've been talking, and I think I'll include both movies that I saw, but also movies that I intend to see that maybe you've seen, so that we can kind of go back and forth a little bit on that.
All right. So you want me to start with my top 10?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Top 10.
I
These are the
know.
movies.
These are 10 movies I saw. We don't want to
The,
have the word top included in it at
right.
all.
These are 10 movies that I paid to see, and they just eked out the other like seven movies that I paid to see. So here we go. Number 10 on the list, The Flash.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like if I had been in a better mood this year and been more optimistic about superhero movies in general, maybe would have been higher on my list. I think that the hype behind it tells me it should have been higher on my list, but I think the hype behind it also destroyed it for me.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
you had people coming out and saying all again, I think we talked about this when we did our podcast on The Flash. James Gunn came out and said it was one of the best superhero movies he'd ever seen. You had Stephen King and Tom Cruise both giving it glowing recommendations. And so I'm going into this movie thinking, oh, greatest superhero movie ever.
I
No.
think we have to be careful though, because like when I think about Stephen King, especially as Stephen King and his involvement in his own screenplays for movies, I'm like, yeah, maybe not. You're a good writer, buddy. You're an amazing writer. But I don't know that I'd say that your input on some of the movies that have been made for you would make you a qualified movie critic.
Well,
But with
needless to
James
say, like,
Gunn saying it about Blue Beetle or something was like, no, don't say that. I mean, it's like crazy.
when you think about Stephen King, like he's famous for not quite sticking the landing on his endings.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
that's
why
true.
Flash worked for him because they didn't quite stick the landing on that ending.
Like I liked it. I mean,
Oh, that was great. All that
yeah.
stuff, the multiverse and Nicolas Cage coming out as Superman. What?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
great.
Well, and there's high anticipation. There are aspects that I loved, like the Michael Keaton being in it was fantastic. I love just seeing him. It didn't really matter what he did in the movie, just so long
It
as
was
I got to
fun.
see Michael Keaton.
That part
Um,
was it was very they really hit you in the nostalgia with that one, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. And I said before, and I'll say it again. I thought Sasha Kaye did a great job as Supergirl. I wish
yeah,
they'd given her more to do.
me too.
Um, but Ezra Miller as the Flash was obnoxious. I thought that his characterization as Barry Allen was really annoying, especially the younger Barry in the alternate universe or whatever that he went
Yep.
to. It was I the way he
First of
laughed
all,
the
he's
whole time.
already unlikable, and so it's almost like they told an unlikable person, "I'd like for you to be more unlikable,"
Yeah,
and he
yeah. What
delivered.
you do in real life, run with that. Do
Yeah,
that
and
and go.
that was disappointing. But I thought, the aspect of him, spoiler. If you're talking about 2023 movies, we are spoiling, and I'm spoiling stuff. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The aspect of him being his own bad guy was fitting, from a plot standpoint with comics and things like that, and even watching the Flash TV show, how that played out too in a similar way. That's good. They stuck to that. And then of course you have backstory with his mom and that history and that path. And so the overall overarching premise and concept of that movie was, I thought, good. And I liked the infusion. It's almost like you got this pitch. All right, we're going to have the storyline. We're going to have him as turn out to be the bad guy. That'll be the big reveal. And then we're going to throw in Superman. Actually, it's Supergirl. And we're going to have Michael Keaton. And then somebody goes, sold. You got it. Whatever you need. We won't look at
Say
it.
Michael
We'll
Keaton.
trust that you're
I
going to
don't care
do.
about this stuff. It's just Michael
Yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah. You got Michael Keaton. It really won't matter what you do. So anyway, that's probably the most amount of time we should give on that movie. But
Probably more
I
so than
mean,
I need to give. Moving on to number nine. In my number nine spot is The Marvels.
mm,
This one seemed to divide fans and critics. Personally, I enjoyed it. Um, I don't, for me it was a middle of the road kind of MCU movie.
yeah,
Did you get a chance to see it?
I have not yet. I,
Okay.
I've been on the fence. I actually, honestly, Aaron, I was going to wait and talk to you about it and ask you if you thought I would like it.
I think you would. I think you'd enjoy it. But like I said, I think it's a middle of the road Marvel movie. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I don't think it deserved to bomb at the box office as hard as it did.
Uh,
It would not have been $1 billion maker at all.
yeah, I
But
like. I mean, I like. What's her name? I like.
Brie Larson,
Yeah, Brie Larson. I like Brie
yeah,
Larson. The other
I
ones I know as well, but I thought that they did good in. I didn't really watch the one who the girl with her show. I watched a couple episodes, but I thought that it was a little cheesy. But I like Maria Rambo. I thought she did a great job in the WandaVision.
yeah. So my thing is Miss Marvel, played by Iman Vellani. I hope I'm saying her name right. She steals the show. Every scene that she is in is fantastic. And I
Oh,
love
great!
that
That's
oh my
helpful.
gosh, I love that they cast this girl as Miss Marvel because
Did you like her in the show in
oh
the in the
yeah,
series? So I just need to
absolutely.
watch more of the series. I just didn't get into it enough.
I mean, it's okay if you're not into the show. It is definitely a show aimed at teenagers. It's a CW type of show.
Oh, so
Okay,
that's why. Oh,
with better special effects.
yeah.
Um the girl who plays Ms. Marvel or Kamala Khan, she it is pitch perfect casting, because you see this character of Miss Marvel. She is a fangirl, right? She loves the Avengers. She especially loves Captain Marvel, and
Yeah.
she is a geek for these superheroes, right?
Yeah.
If you see any interviews with Iman Vellani, and they talk to her about being this character in the MCU, she is
That's
such a
who she
geek.
is. She's
She's,
a
I
geek.
mean, she's
That's
this
good.
kid who grew up watching the MCU movies, and now she gets
Yeah.
to be a part of it. And
Hard on.
it's like when I saw the first um Star Wars sequel. What was that one? The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And we're introduced to Poe Dameron, right?
Yeah.
The first time I saw that character, I was like, and especially when we see him flying the X-Wing, I'm like,
Yeah.
that is a guy who grew up watching Star Wars and is excited about being in an X-Wing. That's
It's
exactly what
true.
this girl was like. She has grown up watching these Marvel movies, and she loves them. And
Encouraging. This is your nine because to me, this is, I mean, this is kind of getting me in the mood to watch it. So,
this if the movie had just been her, it would be higher on the list, because she was just so excited about being in the movie, and being
Russ.
like her character made me more excited about the MCU moving forward than I have been in a long time.
All right. All right.
That's
Well,
not to say
what's
that I'm like super excited about what's going on in the MCU right now, because there's so much flux, but again, her character made that movie.
nice? All right. Number eight. What's your number eight?
Number 8, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Loved
Uh
it. Loved that movie.
yeah, it was
I
great. The animation was gorgeous. Say what you will about Chris Pratt's Mario voice, I don't care. It didn't bother me that he didn't
didn't
sound
bother
like,
me. Hey, it's
honestly,
a Mario.
if
It
it
didn't even.
was that the whole movie, I would have probably walked out, because it's annoying. I'm
It's a
sorry. Hearing a
no.
high pitched fake Italian accent is going to be annoying for an hour and a half. It's
My
cute
kids
when you
and
get like a clip
weekends.
on Mario 64, but
Yeah, no, that's different. It's like really quick. But my kids, we all will just randomly sing Peaches, and so Jack Black,
just peaches,
my
peaches,
hat
peaches,
is
peaches.
off to you. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
I love
he did great.
you.
Yeah, beautiful animation. I can't wait till the sequel whenever that comes out. It's gonna be great. I hope they do an entire
And I
Nintendo
feel like
Cinematic
it
Universe.
it paved the way for conversations that have been going on for some time about Legend of Zelda or Metroid. It's almost like this movie coming out is like it's been done, so now you can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
So I'm really excited about Legend of Zelda and Metroid.
yeah. All it
Hopefully
takes is you get the right people behind the camera, you get the right people in front of the camera, and then it's done. All right,
seven.
let's get to number 7. We've got
Okay.
the slasher sequel, Scream 6.
Oh, I got to know what I saw this one. What did you think about it?
I love a good ghost face. And this one, um, I don't want to spoil it, because
I know. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there's people. It's almost been a year since it came out, but um, this one, I would rank it somewhere around. It's in the top 3 of Scream movies for me,
100%. I'm in the same. I would have said the exact same thing. Top three for me.
because I
It
would
was
say Scream
fantastic.
1, Scream 2, and then Scream 6.
Being
It
in New
was
York was so awesome for it to be
yes,
spread out and not confined to a town. And it was just there was especially like the subway scene. I mean, my gosh, oh, it's
so
awesome.
claustrophobic, and so like there's all these people around, and nobody knows what's happening. It's so crazy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
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 I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm scared for what's coming with Scream 7. I don't
yeah,
know if you've heard.
yep,
The two main actresses they've taken off. Well, no, one was fired for stupid
yep.
reasons, and Jenna Ortega, who can blame her for leaving it, in the light of that. So I don't know what they're
Well,
gonna
it's hard. It's hard because like, and people are divided on this. So, as far as why someone, well, you have actors, this spans like forever, right? Actors say things that not everybody agrees with, and unfortunately, cancel culture says you done. You know what I mean? And then
right.
there's backlash to that, and so there's like this just, and it's like, hey, can we just get back to making movies? You know what I
Right.
mean? Can we just,
The fact that she
I'm
has an
sorry, but
opinion
at
about
the amount
something.
Yeah, the amount of people who you take a kid who's in. Do we not have a history of young actors and actresses not exactly being the sharpest knives in the drawer, or at least not having the couth or the ability to hold back what they say? I mean, look at Sheila Booth. I mean, the things that he's said and done. Transformers, man. You know what I mean? I mean, look at any of them. My gosh, it's crazy. And so whether you like them or you don't like them or whatever, you take it with a grain of salt because they're an actor. They're
Yeah,
not. You have some people like you have
they're not
Emma
policymakers.
Watson, you have Emma Watson, or you have Angelina Jolie, where they actually become someone that actually influences world policy and people and circumstances. Um, and so there's people like that it's like, yeah, you're qualified to speak because you actually have put time and investment as opposed to the ramblings of some kid. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry.
I,
That's just my rant on that, Jazz. But
no,
Scream
yeah,
7 is going to be interesting.
you're right. It doesn't make any sense for them to like. Can we not separate an actor's opinion from the fact that they did a good job in this movie? And hey, let's keep them on. You
Yeah, I
know,
know it's crazy. But
if you
then
want
again, you
to use
have other
them,
people who are
cut
like,
their pay or something.
yeah, then there's a line there too, because then of course you have the Jonathan Majors thing. Jonathan Majors now is out as Kang because he has been found convicted of his I guess abuse. And so it's
Well,
like
that's a little different though. He was
that's
convicted in a
different
court of
than
law.
a word. So it's like you have to have like a line where it's like, hey, if somebody is actually doing something as opposed to someone just saying something stupid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Think you get convicted in a court of law, okay, yeah, you're fired. But you
Yeah.
say something stupid
Socially
that gets
convicted.
the
No.
sound what you get some sound bite on TMZ. Who freaking cares?
Well,
All right.
James Gunn dealt with that, right? I mean, James Gunn dealt with things that he said decades earlier, and he was having cancel culture hit him. And then his popular demand and excitement about him kind of revived him. But okay, anyway, we're going off. Go ahead. Go to your next one.
Number
6.
6, Creed 3. Speaking of Jonathan Majors, um, it was great to see Michael B. Jordan take the lead this time. Not just in front of the camera without Rocky there to support him, but behind the camera. He directed this one. And did such a great job. Did you ever get to see Creed 3? I know we missed out on
No,
that earlier
no,
this year.
I still need to see it. I saw 2, and I still have yet to see 3.
3 is so good. Now,
Yeah,
again, Jonathan Majors being the human being that he is off screen is whatever it is. But in this movie, he does a fantastic job. He is a great actor. Okay, I will say that. I don't care
yeah,
what kind of person he is off camera. He can be a piece of crap off camera, and I'm not going to like him in person. I wouldn't like him as a human being, but as an actor, the dude delivers. And
yeah,
him
yeah,
and Michael B. Jordan on screen together is fire. It is an
yeah. I
amazing
gotta see
movie.
it. I remember you saying it when we did our podcast about it, and it was. I'm really excited to see it, but it's out. I just need to do it at some point.
It's fantastic. You are doing yourself a huge favor by watching it.
Hmm.
Number 5, I've got this wild and crazy video game movie called Tetris. Did you get to see Tetris?
No, but I'm told I should see Tetris.
It is
What
on.
now? What was appealing to you about Tetris?
What's not appealing about Tetris? You close your eyes, you can see those blocks, and you're still trying to move them in the right place. Um, it is it was an amazing look at how Tetris was developed in real life and became the phenomenon that it was in the 80s and 90s and even today. Like you can download it on your phone, you can get it the latest versions on PlayStation.
Yeah,
It's an iconic video game. And who knew that a movie about the making of Tetris would be so engaging? There's action, there's comedy, there's drama. It is everything you want. Um,
wow.
it's a little over dramatized. I remember I was excited to see it because I had actually seen a documentary about the making of Tetris that someone on YouTube had put together several years ago. So I knew the
Yeah,
story of
yeah,
who created it, how it got out of Russia, and things like that. But
yeah.
it's a really good movie. Uh, what's the kid's name? Edgerton.
Oh
Not
yeah,
Joel.
yeah. Taryn.
Taron Egerton, thank you. That one, he does a great job in the movie. Yeah. So if you got Apple TV Plus, check it out.
All
It is
right,
a
I like what
very
you're doing.
very good look at how that game was created. All right, we're now into our top five. This is number four, and we're
Well,
talking about.
hold on. Let me guess. Is it Cocaine Shark?
It is not. That was Cocaine Bear, and that's number three actually. No, number four is John Wick Chapter Four. I
Yeah.
love this action series. The stunt work is chef's kiss. Um, where does this sequel? Did you get to see Chapter Four?
Yeah, I finally saw it on the plane. Yeah, that was good.
Where? So you've seen all of them, right?
Yeah, now I've seen all of them. I haven't
Where?
seen the new show, The Continental, but I've
I
seen
haven't,
all
yeah, I
the.
haven't watched the Continental yet. But as far as the movies go, where does this one rank for you?
This would rank number two for me.
Number two. Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm
number one would
back
be the
and
one,
forth.
and this one's number two.
I'm back and forth between this one or the second one being my favorite.
Oh, really? So you like the second one more than the first one?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I
Uh,
guess it's just because originals always kind of get me in the setup and just that initial, you know, badassery of it. But although
yeah,
two, I really did enjoy certain parts of two. It expanded it and it made it more intense. So that was really cool. Three was forgettable for
yeah.
me,
We
but
didn't do
four
much.
I think was just yeah, it's just you can't keep them down. You know, I mean, you just can't keep them. I mean, you do in the end, but you
There's that
know,
whole thing where he's falling down the steps, and I'm just like, come on.
jeez, come
Well,
on.
when he was falling down the steps and kept falling down the steps and kept falling down the steps, all I could think of was Chris Farley and Black Sheep rolling down that mountain, and then he goes again.
Well played. Well played.
All right, number three, not actually Cocaine Bear. I didn't see that movie this year. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One. That's
I
my
really
number.
enjoyed it.
Oh,
I
great.
enjoyed that movie a lot. I don't know how some people feel. So the Fallout before it, I liked. And so my anticipation for this movie was like, I'm ready. Let's go. You know, I don't know if this is how it's going to end per se
Right.
between these movies or not, just because he seems to be immortal. But oh, man, I really enjoyed the plot, and I liked how much screen time the daughter or granddaughter of Max, you know, the arms dealer, is your
Yeah,
granddaughter.
the White Widow.
Yeah, yeah.
She's called in there. Yeah, it's her daughter. It's Max's daughter.
Daughter. I was thinking I could. It seems to me like it would more likely be her granddaughter, but I mean, I loved her screen time and her activity and her amazing ability to facially have the expressions of the actress that played Max in the first one. I'm just like, that's good.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
yeah. So yeah, I think this it was really great. I'm really looking forward to part two. I don't know what is gonna happen after that. Like, I assume that this is the end for Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, but I can't imagine that Paramount is gonna let this IP sit very long without making something else.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise's production company is a part of making these movies. So what's going to happen in the future when they want to make another Mission Impossible, but make it without Tom Cruise? Now, are
Well,
they
what
going
if
to have him like,
well, I
I
think you're
could
going to
see him
where I was
coming
going to
back as
go.
like a Kittrick kind of character
That's
where he's
exactly what I was
doing
going to say.
the mission, but it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
is his
what
studio going to
I
let
can
him
see that.
sit back and not do any of the action?
See, that's the hard part, right? You could see the natural progression being he becomes either the Kittredge or the John Voight, you know, character. He becomes that guy. But then again, you know, it's like, is Tom Cruise ever that guy? I mean, even in Top Gun, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to fly that last mission. I'm gonna have to do that. That's gonna have to be me. You
Yeah.
know, couldn't leave that to anybody else. And we didn't want it to be anybody else. We
We're
wanted it to
excited
be
for
him.
it.
Yeah.
One last thing about Mission Impossible. Haley Atwell, I might be in love with her. I completely understand why Cap decided to go back at the end of Endgame. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
She's amazing. I think she's gorgeous. I love the accent. I Haley Atwell, if you're out there listening, I am single and age appropriate. So there we go. All right, number two. This is our much anticipated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Brought to you by PETA.
Yeah, right. It's half of the movie is a Sarah McLachlan song wrapped up in a SPCA commercial.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
if you didn't cry watching this movie, something is wrong with your soul.
Oh,
Um, because I don't know.
that
I
was
think I cried probably three separate times during this movie, and
the movie's actually titled Rocket and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
right,
That's
yeah,
actually
this
what it's called.
is what it should be.
I mean,
The
I liked it.
cartoon story.
I enjoyed seeing the movie, as I love all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I don't know how I feel. I think I don't like this was my third. I think I like the first one, then the second one, and the third one. But I mean, there were good moments, and it was a little more raw and real than the plucky nature of Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's okay. That's okay to do it. It's just you kind of what? you know, you're looking at you're waiting for more humor, and there's just not, it's not there. And that's, and the characters have to change and things like that. And it was a really good movie to talk about that backstory that we not really had in the fullness of it. But I don't know. I wanted to laugh a little bit more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a much more serious story than we've gotten from the previous two Guardians movies. Um, but overall,
Yeah.
I'd say it was a really good wrap up to finish out a trilogy.
Yeah.
Um, and leaves you with the question, which Marvel trilogy has been the best one so far? Because you got the Iron Man trilogy, you've got the Thor trilogy before Love and Thunder, which do we have to count Love and Thunder? I mean, it's
Let's not. Let's just include Ragnarok and let that be the end of it.
Spider-Man trilogy and Guardians trilogy, Captain America trilogy.
Spider-Man trilogy all the way. Number one.
Yeah.
Number one for me, Spider-Man trilogy. Number two would be the Thor trilogy. And maybe number three would be Guardians of the Galaxy. You?
I'm gonna abstain on that one
Okay.
because I've got to think about it. And this is neither the time nor the place.
It's neither the time or the place, Landon. All right, go ahead. You're number two.
No, this is number one. Do you have any
Oh,
guesses what my number one for the year could be?
I'm surprised that you have not mentioned Quantumania yet, but I have a hard time believing that you would list that as your number one.
Did not make my
So
top 10.
I'm going to, but again, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. Let me guess that one. Oh,
That's
no, no,
number
no. Of
one.
course. I'm sorry. No, no, no. That can't be number one. Is it Indiana Jones, Dial of
No,
Destiny?
no. Across the Spider Verse is absolutely number one.
Oh, it was? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. It's just my
yeah.
guns.
Dial of Destiny did not make my top 10. Quantum Mania did not make my top 10. They both fell short in my eyes. Now I will say before we get to number one, uh, I'd give Dial of Destiny a good honorable mention. It did not meet my expectations,
Yeah.
but it was better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it was a better send off than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was. So that I will say I enjoyed that much of it anyway. But overall, I still say the Indiana Jones movies should have ended with The Last Crusade. They rode off into the sunset together. It was a perfect
Yeah.
trilogy.
I know. I know. All right. So Cross the Spider-Verse. Loved it as well. I thought the character, the Spot character, was a little stupid, but I thought that the idea of just having more of a focus on the Spider Girl, and then also all of the different Spider people, how they did that, and the throwbacks to all the different versions of Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. I loved that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. For me, one of the biggest standouts is just the animation overall,
Yeah.
and how distinctive each universe in the multiverse is. So, like,
Yeah.
we've got Miles Morales and his home universe that looks like it did with the first movie, which is still also amazing animation. But when you go to Gwen Stacy's universe, or Spider Woman, Spider Gwen, whatever you want to call her,
Right.
hers is like it's almost like watching animated watercolors, and it's so gorgeous, and like it amazes me how much detail they have put into the animation in these movies, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait for the third one to come out. I Because this one leaves you on a cliffhanger.
Oh,
I
it
hate
does.
that
Yeah.
about movies.
Yeah.
um
We
I,
need action.
just
We need
because, like,
quick.
it makes me mad when movies, just because you've got another movie coming out, why do you have
Yeah.
to end on a cliffhanger? This is
I know.
not this is that's
I
television
know.
crap.
No, no, I'm with
That's
you.
stuff you do when you're getting ready for next season of your television show. This is a movie. I paid $7.50 to see a matinee. I want beginning and
Give me
ending.
my ending.
That's right. I want to
No,
know.
I
I want
know.
happily ever after, or I want everybody dies. Whatever. Just
I
give me
know.
an end. Don't leave me hanging with
I
Miles
know.
is tied up by his alternate self. No, I don't need that stuff. Get out of here
Um,
with that.
all right. So before we end, I'll share a few things that I saw that you didn't mention that were notable. So I saw Evil Dead Rise, and I was glad I saw it, though I thought it was very um everything was expected. Like I could, and there was no shock and awe for me. It was very kind of run of the mill.
What's the
I am
gore
told.
factor on that one?
What's the what? The horror
What's,
factor?
what's the gore factor on that one?
It's pretty gory. I mean, it's an Evil Dead movie, so I'm told I need to see the family plan, that I would like that. Hunger Games, that's really one of the ones I'm most excited to see. And with my family, all of us want to see that together. Exorcist Believer, I probably will see at some point, though my kids have begged me not to. Five Nights at Freddy's, I saw with my son, and I came into it with the expectation that it would be cheesy, and it was, but it was also had some really nice moments and throwbacks to the game. Although there were some altering things in the game that really bothered my son. Um,
You
so
want
I
to stick to
tend
the
to see.
scripts, huh?
I know. Then Insidious, The Red Door, I still need to see. Equalizer, I need to see all of them, actually. I don't know if I'll see Saw 10. I might do it if I watch the entire series of everything together. Haunting in Venice, I want to see just because I want to see the Poirot movies, but I hear it's not the best. And then Boogeyman I saw, and that was very forgettable and not worth seeing, in my opinion. And then let's see, there was one other I saw Pope's Exorcist, that was okay. Um, I think the other one I wanted to share was, oh yeah, Quantumania. I liked far more than you would, but we laughed hysterically because we think Paul Rudd is hilarious. And even now, the kids will come up to me and they'll look at me in a heartfelt, kind way, and they'll put their fingers on my cheek and say, "At least I died an Avenger." We just die laughing, which is a hilarious line from it. But those are really the ones that kind of stick out for me. Have no intention of seeing like Renfield or anything like that. But yeah, so not that much to choose from. Shazam! Fury of the Gods should be burned in the streets. Anything else?
That's kind of how I feel about Quantumania. It should be burned in the streets. Um, no, that's it. Anything else you got as far as anything
No,
different you would do to my top 10?
no. I think you're spot on. I would be interested if you have anybody listening has their movies or thoughts on any of the movies we mentioned or movies we didn't mention. Please feel free to comment or send us a message on that. Happy to throw a mention out there for any of those as well. Please do like and subscribe and share us as well. We love talking about movies and anything and everything, and we love your participation and interest. So we have a great time talking together. We'd love for you to be a part of it.
Absolutely. We definitely want y'all to be part of the conversation. So until next time, have a great whatever it is, wherever you are.